Hello, good day once again, gentle folks. Thank you for joining me for another video for your English Premier League betting tips and predictions for this year game week. I hope you're having a wonderful game week so far and things are going your way and things are going smoothly. Well, for this week, we're going to start here on Saturday all the way through to Monday. Yes, not Monday, all the way through to Wednesday. We have a double game week this week, Arsenal and Man City playing. And so I'm going to go from Saturday all the way through to Wednesday of next week. As you see, February is almost out. But for this year week, as you know, we're going to do the usual. We're going to jump straight into it. We're starting on Saturday with West Ham versus Chelsea United. And let's give you our predictions here. For this particular game, I'm expecting this one to end in a draw. And I'm going to say here both teams are going to score. And I expect 1-1 draw here. In terms of anytime goal scorer, we have the usual suspects. You have Danny Ings if he's fit and ready. You have Antonio, you have Gerard Bowen, and you have Said Benrahma, as well as Geta. He has been scoring some goals of late. And Thomas Suchak, the guy who I always refer to as the guy who always has a goal in him. He can score for you at any point. On the Chelsea side of football, you have Kai Havertz, you have Jean Felix. I think he should be available for selection for this game coming on Saturday, as well as Raheem Sterling if he plays, and Mudryk if he plays as well. He can score for you, as well as Hakim Ziyech and Mason Mount. But for me, I'm gonna go with João Felix. I like how he played, and so I'm going to take him to be my anytime goal scorer. So for me here now, I'm just going to give you a quick recap of my predictions for West Ham United versus Chelsea. I'm expecting a draw here at $3.25. I'm expecting both teams to score as well. In terms of the correct score, now get your pens and the papers out, folks, and write this down. I'm expecting this one to be a 1-1 draw, and that's $6 in terms of the odds currently. Alright, in terms of my anytime goal score, I'm going to go with João Felix for my anytime score. Alright, now we're going to move on to our next game, and our next game will be Arsenal versus Brentford. And for Arsenal versus Brentford, I'm expecting Arsenal to win here. I'm expecting both teams to score as well. In terms of a double chance, I'll go with either to win and both to score. My predicted scoreline for this game, I'm saying Arsenal should win this one 3-1. In terms of the handicap system, if you want to go that route and take a bet on the handicap system, I'll go ahead and I'll take Arsenal to win this one by a goal. $2.05, the really lovely odds. Now we're going to jump on over to our anytime goal scorer. You have the usual suspects for Arsenal. You have Eddie Nketiah, you have Martinelli, you have Odegaard, you have Saka, and you also have Smith Rowe. If he plays, he was a super sub last season, and he scored a number of goals coming off the bench. Xhaka can pop up and score one for you as well. In terms of Brentford, you have Ivan Toney, you have Wissa, you have Mbeumo, and you have Lewis Potter and Josh Da Silva. Those guys can score for you at any point for Brentford as well. But for me, I'm going to take my anytime goal scorer to be Ivan Wissa. He's a super sub and he's done it many times in this league, and I'm going to take him to be my anytime goal scorer in this game. Alright, so therefore I'm going to give you a quick recap here of Arsenal versus Brentford. And my recap, here we go. Arsenal to win this game at $1.40. I'm expecting both teams to score at $2. Folks, don't take note of this. Both teams scoring $2. Alright, in terms of a double chance, either team to win and both to score at $2.70. Yeah, predicted scoreline, make a note of this as well. 3-1 in favor of Arsenal, I do believe, and that's $11 in terms of the odds. Yeah, on the handicap system, taking Arsenal to win by a goal, getting $2.05 for that. And my anytime goal scorer to be Ivan Wissa from Brentford. Yeah, he's a super sub and he has a lot of goals in him, and they are getting $5.25 if he scores at any point in this game. Alright, those are my predictions for Arsenal versus Brentford, and now we're going to move on over to Crystal Palace versus Brighton and Hove Albion. And for this game now, I'm expecting Brighton and Hove Albion to win. It's not going to be easy though. Crystal Palace, they're going to have to fight for it through to the end, and so I'm expecting Brighton and Hove Albion to win. Both teams not to score. In terms of double chance, I go with either to win and both not to score. Predicted scoreline for me, I'm saying Brighton wins this 1-1. And in terms of anytime goal scorer, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my anytime goal scorer here to be let me just run through this first. You have MATCHDAY, you have Eze, Olise, and Schlupp, as well as Jordan. I can look out for who will score for you at any point. Zaha was out injured, so I'm not sure he'll be playing this week. I doubt it. And also, in terms of Brighton, anytime goal scorers, you have young Evan Ferguson. You have to look out for Danny Welbeck. You have Mitoma, who's on a good run of scoring form, as well as Selimarish, and you have Alexis McAllister. Yeah, look out for him too. He can score a goal for you as well Pascal Gross and Sarmiento as well, depending on the amount of time they get, right? But for me, I'm going to take my anytime goal scorer to be Dan Welbeck, and so I'm going to work with Dan Welbeck here to be my anytime goal scorer. And in terms of the handicap system, if you want to take a bet there also, folks, based on my predicted scoreline, I'm going to get the basis being Brighton winning by a goal. We're going to have to take a draw here, right? So let's give you a quick recap of my predictions for this particular game. Crystal Palace versus Brighton. I'm expecting Brighton to win this one at $2. I'm expecting both teams not to score. In terms of a double chance, I'd say either to win and both not to score. Predicted scoreline now, folks. Note this. Brighton to win this one 1-0, and that's $7 at the present moment. And my anytime goal scorer to be Danny Welbeck. Alright, so those are my predictions for Crystal Palace versus Brighton. And now we're going to move on to Fulham versus Nottingham Forest. And for Fulham versus Nottingham Forest, I'm expecting this one to end in a draw. And so therefore, folks, I'm expecting both teams to score here as well. And in terms of predicted scoreline, I'm saying this one should end in a 2-2 draw. And in terms of my anytime goal scorer here now, folks, for Fulham, we have Mitrovic, we have Bobby Reed, and we have also William and Palina, as well as Andreas Pereira. Those guys could score for you at any point for Fulham. And Nottingham side of the football, you have Brennan Johnson, you have Chris Wood. All those guys are key guys that you have to look out for. Andre Ayew is more of a provider, and Morgan Gibbs White tends to find himself in some good spot, but he ends up not scoring. This guy from Brazil, Gustavo Scarpa, really good. He's doing a really good job on the wing, and so you have to look, but he's going to be a good provider going forward too. And so they're stocking up to stay in the league, and I think if they do stay up, they'll give a better shot of it next season. But for me, my anytime goal scorer in this game, I'm going to go with my anytime goal scorer to be Andreas Pereira. So I'm going to go with Andreas Pereira to be my anytime goal scorer here. And let me just give you a quick recap now, folks, of my predictions for Fulham versus Nottingham Forest. I'm expecting a draw here, and I'm expecting a draw at $3.50. And I'm expecting both teams to score as well. In terms of my predicted scoreline, correct scoreline, I'm saying this one should end in a 2-2 draw, and that's $13 if that happens. Anytime goal score for this game, I'm going with Andreas Pereira, and that's $5.50. Alright, so let's move on to our next game rather, and this is Leicester City versus Tottenham Hotspurs. And for Leicester City versus Tottenham Hotspurs, I'm expecting this one to be a good matchup, and I'm going to take Tottenham Hotspurs to win here, and I'm saying both teams to score as well. In terms of a double chance, I'll go with either to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline, I'm saying Tottenham wins this one 2-1. In terms of the handicap system, three-way handicap, the basis being Tottenham winning by a goal. We're going to take a draw here, right? So jumping on over to the anytime goal scorers, for Leicester City, you have Madison, you have Vardy, you have Daka, and you have Iheanacho, as well as Barnes and Tielemans, and also you have Pratt, who could score for you at any given point in this game. If you want to find a defender who could score for you, it's Timothy Castagne at $9. Really lovely odds, yeah. In terms of Hotspurs, anytime scorer, you have Harry Kane, who scored, I think, in the last 12 games, and also you have Son Heung-min, haven't been scoring as much this season, and you have Richarlison, as well as Shkulishetsky and Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. You can't count him out, he can score for you as well. Alright, but for me, my anytime goal scorer for this game, I'm going to go with my anytime goal scorer to be Jamie Vardy. So I'm going to take Jamie Vardy to be my anytime goal scorer in this game. Alright, so recapping predictions for Leicester City versus Tottenham Hotspurs. I'm expecting Tottenham Hotspurs to win this one at $2.10. I'm expecting both teams to score as well at $1.65. And in terms of a double chance, I'll go with either team to win and both to score. That's $2.40. Alright, in terms of the predicted scoreline here, I'm saying 2-1 in favor of Tottenham Hotspurs, and that's $8.50. If that happens, in terms of the handicap system, if you want to take a bet there, take a draw based on my predicted scoreline, and that's $3.80. In terms of my anytime goal scorer, I'm going to go with Jamie Vardy in this game. Although outside of Jamie Vardy, I would say you have to look out for Harry Kane, because he scored in all the last 10 or more games for Spurs. He scored, whether they've won, lost, or drew the game, he has scored. So you have to look. So and I think it's $1.87 for him if he scores at any point in this game. So that's good odds, good enough odds, yeah. So those are my predictions for Leicester City versus Tottenham Hotspurs, and that's how the cookie crumbles for this particular game. Now we're going to move on to our next game, which is Southampton United versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolverhampton Wanderers coming off a very good victory against Liverpool 3-0, and so therefore they should be riding a little bit high. Southampton, they're in fighting mode, and Wolverhampton, they're going to have to be very careful because Southampton could clip their wings here. Alright then, so but for me, I'm going to take this match here, and I'm going to say this one is going to end in a draw, and I'm expecting both teams to score as well. So it's a scoring draw. Alright, so and for me, it's going to be a 1-all draw. And so if you want another double chance bet, I'll go with either a draw and under 4.5 rather. Sorry. In terms of my anytime goal score, looking at usual suspects now, you have Shea Adams from Southampton, you have James Ward-Prowse, you have Mara, you have Adam Armstrong, as well as Oribo, and Orsic is more of a provider on the wing, so you have to look for him. Alright, Carlos Alcaraz, more of a provider too, so he'll provide more. Alright, so in terms of Wolverhampton Wanderers, we have Daniel Podence, you have Mateus Cunha, who could score for you as well. You have Pedro Neto, depending on the time he gets. Or Raúl Jiménez, the same thing, depending on the time he gets, he can score for you as well as Ruben Neves. And also Adama Traoré, more of a provider as well. He could provide a goal for you as well too. Alright, but for me, my anytime goal scorer in this game, I'm going to go with my anytime goal scorer to be my anytime goal scorer. I'm going to take my anytime goal scorer to be Mateus Cunha. Mateus Cunha. Alright, so leaving a quick recap for Southampton versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. I'm expecting a draw in this game at $3.10, and I'm expecting both teams to score as well at $1.90. In terms of my correct score prediction, I'm saying we should have a 1-all draw here between these teams, and this is $6 if that happens. In terms of a double chance, you can go with a draw and under 4.5 goals in total for the game, and that's $3.10. Good odds if you ask me. In terms of my anytime goal score, I'm going to go with Mateus Cunha, and that's $3.80 if this guy scores at a given point in the game. Right? So that's all the quick crumbles for Southampton versus Wolverhampton Wanderers, and now we're going to move on over to AFC Bournemouth versus Newcastle United. I think Bournemouth will be going back down to the championship this year. Just my opinion, but we're not here to discuss that. But let me just jump straight into the predictions for this one. I'm going to take Newcastle to win here, and both teams not to score. In terms of double chance, I'm going to go with either to win and both not to score. Predicted scoreline for me, I'm saying this one ends 2-0 in favor of Newcastle. Otherwise, it might end 2-1. Because I know these teams that are at the lower end, they're going to fight, and they're going to fight at the bitter end, and then these teams higher up then end up losing points. Right? On the handicap system, we're going to take Newcastle to win by a goal. Right? So therefore now, anytime goal scorers, let's run through the list. Bournemouth, you have Kiefer Moore, you have Dominic Solanke, you have Jordan Anthony, as well as Philip Bellin, and also Jefferson Lerma. Alright, those guys can pop up and score for you at any given point in this game for Bournemouth. In terms of Newcastle now, you have Isak, depending on the amount of time to get Alexander Isak, and then you have Callum Wilson as well as Miguel Almiron, and also you have Alan St. Maximum, depending on the amount of time he gets, he can score for you as well. Trippier, depending if he gets a free kick and depends on where it is, he could score for you as well. But for me, my anytime goal scorer is going to be Miguel Almiron. I'm going to take Miguel Almiron to be my anytime goal scorer here in this game. And so therefore, let's just give you a quick recap for Bournemouth versus Newcastle United predictions. I'm expecting Newcastle to win here at $1.55. I'm expecting both teams not to score. In terms of double chance, I'll go with either to win and both not to score at $2 there. In terms of my predicted scoreline, I'm saying Newcastle should win this one 2-0. And that's $6.50 if that's the case. In terms of a handicap system, if you want to take a bet on that, I'll go ahead and take a bet for Newcastle to win by a goal, and that's $2.50. In terms of an anytime goal score, I'm going to go with Miguel Almiron, and if he scores us in the point in this game, the odds currently is $2.50 for him to do so. Alright, so those are my predictions for Bournemouth versus Newcastle, and now we're going to move on to our next game, which is Leeds United versus Manchester United. And for this game now, I'm expecting Manchester United to come away with the victory here, and I'm expecting both teams to score as well. This one, I'm going to go here for this double chance, either team to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline for me, I'm saying 2-1 here in favor of Manchester United on the handicap system. Three-way handicap system, that is. Basis being Manchester winning by a goal, we're going to take a draw based on our predicted scoreline. Anytime goal scorers, For Leeds, you have Bramford, and you have as well as Sinister, and you have Wilfried Garnacho, as well as Jack Harrison, and also you have to look at Mark Roca. Alright, those guys can pop up and score for Leeds at any given point, I do believe. Alright, and for Manchester United, the usual suspect, Marcus Rashford, this guy, Alejandro Garnacho, depending on the time he gets, Anthony, mostly a provider, does he's a little bit predictable, so that he might not end up scoring in this game. Bruno Fernandes as well, and also Jadon Sancho is on his way back, so let's see how things go for him. But for me, my anytime goal scorer in this game, I'm going to take Marcus Rashford to be my anytime goal scorer at $2.10, and in scoring form, he's a really good option to take here. Alright, so let's do a quick recap for Leeds versus Manchester United. I'm expecting Manchester United to win here at $1.80. I'm expecting both teams to score as well, $1.61. In terms of a double chance, I'll go with either to win and both to score. That's $2.30 if that should happen. And my predicted scoreline is 2-1 in favor of Manchester United, and that's $8 if we should have such scoreline. Alright, in terms of the handicap system, if we're gonna go there and take a bet, I'll take a draw here at basis B, Manchester win by a goal. Three-way handicap system now, folks, remember that. And in terms of my anytime goal scorer, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take Marcus Rashford to score at any given point in this game. Here, Leeds versus Manchester United. Now let's move on to our next game, and our next game will be Manchester City versus Aston Villa. And this game closes out Sunday, and as you know, City has another game on Wednesday against Arsenal, next week that is. And so for this game, City versus Aston Villa, City in a little bit hot water now, but I don't think the players will be focusing on that. So my predictions here are Manchester City to win, both teams not to score. In terms of a double chance, I'll go with City to either to win and both not to score. Predicted scoreline for me, Manchester City wins this one 2-0. In terms of the handicap system, I'll go ahead and take City to win by a goal, but we're going to take a draw based on our predicted scoreline. Alright, so the usual suspects to score here now for City, you have Erling Haaland, as well as Julian Alvarez and Riyad Mahrez as well. And you also have Kevin De Bruyne, he's overdue a goal, as well as Ilkay Gundogan, he's overdue a goal as well as Bernardo Silva. Alright, that's it for City for me. And in terms of Aston Villa, you have Ollie Watkins, he's been scoring all the goals for them so far of late. And also Leon Bailey and Emiliano Buendia, he has a goal in the minutes as well. Jacob Ramsey, last season he was in a good form, but don't know what has happened to him of late. Jan McGinn and Douglas Luiz, you have to look out for those guys as well. They can pop up and score for you at any given point too. Alright, but for me, my anytime goal scorer in this particular game, I'm going to take my anytime goal scorer to be Julian Alvarez. Alright, so let's go ahead and give you a recap here for Manchester City versus Aston Villa. And for this particular game, I'm expecting Manchester City to win at $1.22. I'm expecting both teams not to score. And in terms of a double chance bet, I'll go with either team to win and both not to score, and that's $1.90. In terms of my predicted scoreline, I'm saying 2-0 here in favor of Manchester City. And that's $6.50 if that should be the case. That scoreline that is. And in terms of the handicap system, I'm going to take a draw, and that's $4. Alright, really good odds, yeah. And in terms of my anytime goal scoring, I'm going to say we're going to go with Julian Alvarez here, and that's $1.61. It's a strong possibility that Julian Alvarez might get more minutes in this game, because as you know, this month is Champions League, and so Pep, as we all know, he's crazy when it comes down to squad rotation. Yeah, so look out for Julian to maybe start that game, and even maybe getting a brace there. Alright, so let's move on to our Monday night game, and this game is Everton versus Liverpool, and this is a Merseyside derby. Yeah. And for this particular game, I'm gonna say here, this is I think I have a gut feeling that it might end in a draw. I have a strong feeling that might be the case, but I'm gonna go with Liverpool to win, and I'm gonna go with Liverpool to win this game 1-0. Alright, and in terms of double chance, I'll go with either to win and both not to score. Alright, so in terms of both teams scoring, no. Alright, in terms of anytime goal scorers now, I'm going to go here and I'm going to take my anytime. I'm going through the list. Yeah, for Liverpool, you have Darwin Nunez, you have Salah, he's overdue a goal. Gakpo, he's off to an awful start, he's due a goal as well. And in terms of Everton, you have to look out for Calvert-Lewin, who's on the front line, as well as Dwight McNabb. You have Iwobi as well, and you have the Kure, who from time to time can pop up with a goal for you. So those are the guys that we're looking at to be anytime goal scorers in this particular game, right? But for me, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna go with Mohamed Salah. He's overdue a goal, and so therefore he should come up with one, I do believe. Alright, so doing a quick recap of the predictions for Liverpool versus Everton here. I'm expecting Liverpool to win at $1.47. In terms of my predicted scoreline, I'm saying here Liverpool should win this one 1-0, and that's at $7 if that's the case, if that should happen. And in terms of a double chance, I'll go with either team to win and both not to score, and that's $2.10. And also I'm saying both teams won't score here, and that's $1.85. In terms of my anytime goal scorer, I'm going to go with Mohamed Salah, and that's $2.37 if he scores at any given point in this game, right? So on to our next game, and this game is going to be the final game of this year game week, and this game is Arsenal versus Manchester City. So both Arsenal and Manchester City are playing double games for this game week, and so therefore let's just jump into it. And for this game, Arsenal versus Manchester City, this one is going to be an interesting one, because this game could have a far-reaching effect on who wins the championship at the end of the season. Alright, but for me, after that, he has beaten Manchester City before, and so therefore, but you have to wonder if Arsenal are now at the point where they might be falling off, and so therefore, if that's the case, then City might take advantage. Alright, so but for me, I think this one is gonna be an interesting one. I expect both teams to score. In terms of the team to win, I'm going to say here this one is going to end in a which one is going to end in a draw, I do believe, in a draw. And I'm going to say here both teams to score. Well, in terms of anytime goal scorers, don't have any options here as yet. But they're the usual suspects. For City, you have Haaland, you have Gundogan, you have Kevin De Bruyne, you have Mahrez, you have Foden if he please, and you have Alvarez. Yeah, and in terms of anytime goal scorer on the Arsenal side of football, you have Eddie Nketiah, you have Odegaard, you have Martinelli, and you have Smith Rowe. He was a great super sub last season. Can score for you as well as Xhaka, who can pop up from time to time and score for you as well. And also you have Jorginho. Well, he mostly scores penalties, but I don't know if he'll get the start. I don't know how much time he'll get, as well as Trossard. Trossard can score for you as well, but I don't know how much time those guys are going to get on the field of play this time around. Alright, so let me just come here now and give you another double. If you want a double chance bet, I'll go here with a double chance bet for you, and let me just give you a draw and under 3.5. Alright, so recap now for Arsenal versus Manchester City. I'm expecting this one to end in a draw. Any surprises there, I'd say City take the win, but I'm taking a draw here for this game, and it's $1.66. Alright, if this game ends in a draw, no, not $1.06, it's $3.25 if it ends in a draw. If both teams score, it's $1.66. Alright, in terms of correct score prediction, I'm going with a 1-all draw here, and that's $6.50. And in terms of a double chance, I go with a draw and under 3.5 goals in total for the game, and that's $4.50. Alright, so those are all my predictions for Arsenal versus Manchester City, one of the big clashes for the upcoming game week. And these are all my predictions for the upcoming game week. I hope you took your notes, folks. As usual, if you want to leave a comment, feel free to do so. Remember to subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell whenever you do so. I'm asking you to spread the word about my channel via your social media pages or any other form, just to let the channel grow. Yeah, thank you for your support, and as I said, good luck in all your bets, and happy betting, and have a happy and great weekend. Stay safe, and I'll see you back here next week. Alright, thank you.